I'm Sori.
That's Booby.
Called Bean. A ghosty? Oh, you made him sit? Why do you play with him? I think it's so cute that you play with him.
I really enjoy Ghosty. Ghosty.
Apparently.
Very,
I come in
awesome.
and he'll be in like some different little position. I'm like, oh my gosh, Vin's been playing with him again.
Do we have a Word in the World as a Village? So this is the big homie Klaus.
Yes, it is.
If you want a Sori Secret shirt, you can go to the
Yeah, they're
bottom.
actually pretty badass if I do say myself. So there's this picture in the front, and then on the back it says maybe you're sick because of your secrets.
Watch all. The only thing we ask is if you get a shirt, please send us a picture so we can do a Word in the World as a Village with you. Where's Klaus from?
Denmark.
Denmark.
So it's one of the things with it is if you're on your cell phone watching us, you're not going to be able to see like our store that's like right below. Just check the description of the video and it's going to give you information on Vin's political channel, my crazy Sori life channel, and also the store where you can get all types of different merch. This is just one piece of the things we have there. So like we said, anything that you get from us, if you send us a picture of it, you will be featured in one of our videos.
If you want to.
If you want to. And if you want your name in there, we can put that in there too. Some people are like, put my face. Most people have said put their name too. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most people are cool with it, but I've been...
You will be seen by thousands of people. All right, so this one is called Nothingface.
No, that's the name of the band.
Yeah. This one is in this band.
Yeah, the band is called Nothing.
And I was going to actually let you say the name of the
No,
the
you
song
go
here.
ahead and
That's
say
okay,
it.
babe.
It's your
You
favorite
can.
topic. Go ahead.
You're going to hell. Murder is masturbation. So people are wondering which one. Wow.
From the album Skeletons, I actually saw Nothingface live during
did?
the Tattoo the Earth thing.
Really?
They were on like a mini stage. It was them and Mudvayne.
How were they?
I had no idea because I was like, Nothingface, huh? I mean, I barely listened to Mudvayne.
No band with nothing in it could mean anything to me.
Well, no, I thought the name was badass, but I mean, we were there for Slipknot.
It sounds like...
And Metallica and Slayer were there. You know what I mean?
So you're not going to go over there.
Yeah, Mudvayne was on this mini stage, and I saw Mudvayne, and I was like, oh, they're okay.
Really?
Yeah. They were doing, they're actually promoting LD50. And, yeah, but Nothingface was there. I didn't listen to it.
The name Nothingface makes me think of, a friend I used to have.
Which alliance is this?
And he used to call his ex-girlfriend Dumbface, which, yeah, he'd be like, instead of like saying her name, he would just say Dumbface.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I was dating him, so I actually liked it that he would say that.
Okay, so...
That's the horrible type of person that I am.
For sure. You still are. Which Patreon alliance is this?
I uploaded so many things that right there you have it. This is the core.
The core!
Oh!
It was due April 29th.
Yeah, so shout out to the core. This was due the day I was going into labor.
Yep.
So.
And my birthday. So, mashallah tabaraka. So, the day that Orion was being born, this was the song we were supposed to do.
He was actually born on the 30th, but he,
being born
the pains of childbirth had begun.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
If you want to join a Patreon group, it starts at $1, and then you will get pounced on by various alliances because they're going to want to have you on their team and all that jazz. You get the what do you call it? The Discord chat and all that. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool gateway for $1.
There's a fun little list of perks there.
Okay, let's go.
And go.
I'm not awake, but I'm not dead. The drugs are late, lost my money again. They never gave you anything. You think you get the fucking point? I'll live until I'm fucking killed. Let's see the point when I can't find a way to get through this fucking hell. I found the easy way to die. Just educate myself and pretend all I've learned's untrue. And yeah, I know that all I'll lose is you. Have you ever loved something that never seemed to have a face at all? It just screams aloud, yeah. It always cures the pain that would never leave and causes even more. It just screams out loud, but never goes away. That motherfucker, kill that motherfucker, kill that motherfucker, and it's all that I think about. That motherfucker, kill that motherfucker, kill that motherfucker.
I like that energy. I kept going back. I was like, at first I thought the song was about like drugs and the effects of drugs on a person.
Right.
And then I just thought it was just like, it could be like the theme song for the predominantly white males that keep going up and blowing places up, like shooting at people.
Wow.
And
You're gonna get some comments for that.
don't care. It's the truth. Then they threw me off when they're talking about what sounds like school, when you're learning, and stuff. So, but I really like the parts when they're saying you killed that motherfucker. When they were screaming that part, I was like, wow, that's some...
Yeah, that I can imagine that would have popped off pretty hard live.
Yeah,
You know.
I think so. So what exactly...
What was the other one? Was that die, motherfucker?
Yeah.
Die, motherfucker,
Oh my
die.
God.
You don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck. It can go down any way you want it to go down.
Yeah,
You jealous motherfucker.
the one part that I was like, whoa, you took it too far. Where was that one? I looked at you. Oh, right there. What better way than rid the world of all the walking waste? I was like, well, I can't throw in when you're there.
You can throw in with kill the motherfucker, but
But because you could put a spin on that, I guess.
how? I would like to see this spin.
Okay, if I don't have to be a good person, it could be for pedophiles.
Well, you could do the same thing. You could be talking about killing all the walking wastes, namely pedophiles.
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, I'm like,
Nobody
we
would feel
can't. We
bad.
gotta. Yeah, well, I know nobody would feel
Actually,
bad. We gotta get these people help.
when I
though,
posted
so-
that thing about Alabama forcibly castrating people,
Yeah,
there was a guy there that forcibly castrating
pedophiles.
pedophiles.
I don't have a problem. I've been saying that all
Meaning
along.
it was proven that you assaulted somebody under the age of 13
Yeah,
is what the law was in Alabama.
yeah.
They forcibly castrated.
I'm
And-
all for that.
Of course, I mean, they should. They're lucky that that's all
Yeah.
that's happening. And somebody was like, "Hey, Vin, you don't care about people's bodily autonomy, da 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 da. You don't care, da 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 da." I'm like, "No, I don't care about the bodily autonomy of a child molester. He's lucky he's still in his body. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, let somebody.
We don't even need to talk about it. We don't need to talk about it. I'm trying to repent of my violent ideations.
Okay, yeah, I don't have violent ideations like that, but on a topic like
You
that,
do. You've just never acted on it. You'd feel different about violence if you acted on it.
really, would I like it more? Would I want it?
Well, you know, it's all fun and games. You know what I mean? But then you have to live with yourself afterwards. So it's very glamorous when you're young, but you know, you have to, you know.
Well, yeah, no, I can see that. Yeah. So what is it about? What are we talking about?
Well, I just think it's, you know, misanthropy is a, you know, hatred for mankind. You know.
Oh, so it was just about just mankind in general?
Well, it's a theme in metal that comes up from time to time, but the first one, it looks like drugs.
Yeah.
You know, and he explicitly says that the drugs are late. I lost my money again. They never gave you anything. You'd think you'd get the point. I'll live until I'm killed. So, like, it seems like the first kind of stanza was about self-destruction.
Yeah, through drugs.
Right, right.
And that point where he says, I see the point, but I can't find a way through this mental hell.
Right.
I thought, wow. To me, that was like, you know, addiction.
Right, we've had those
and
conversations.
the way, like, yeah, trying to get away from it, but it's like mentally you're there. Like, physically your body is addicted to it, but then once they go through those withdrawals and they get out of it, technically their body is not addicted anymore, but mentally they are. And so it's hard to get away from that mental addiction that's there.
Yeah, what people don't realize, especially, is that, you know, when you hit 5-6 months of sobriety, and then you fall back into it.
Oh gosh, yep.
It's actually extremely dangerous. A lot of people die in that window.
Right.
Somebody from recent fame, it's pretty, I'm not going to talk about it, but they recently died, and that's what happened.
Right.
People were like, I don't understand, she was 5 months. Right, so what happens is you get sober for 5 or 6 months and your body starts reacclimating because you're poisoning it.
Yeah.
And then people take the same dosage that they did when they were at the height of their using, and they die.
Right.
So it's very real. Like, people, it's a crazy thing. Like, the industry, the opioid industry is crazy because, you know, it's such a pernicious thing. You're in so much danger all the time. So even when you've done it and you've beat it for half a year, the whole thing could take you out in one shot.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And it, you know, that group that we were working with, you know, that it happened multiple times in a just a 2-year span. It happened multiple times.
Wow.
People who were doing great and basically kicked it. Just, you know, there's some things where...
You know what I don't understand? Okay, I'm sorry. Finish what you're saying. I'll say mine.
You're good. Go ahead.
If I was a drug dealer and somebody fell off the map for me and I couldn't sell to them for 5 months and I knew they were trying to get clean, because they all talked, like, word went around. And then the person came to me to buy again. I would... Let's say I was not a good person at all, like I didn't even care about the person's well-being and all they were was a money symbol to me, then I would still tell them, hey, you've been clean, so make sure you don't go to the same extreme that you did before or it will kill you. Because if they die, they're never gonna buy from you again.
Yeah, but I
don't
think those drug dealers know that.
What?
I don't think that they know that a person who's quit is in actual more danger than a person who's doing it every day.
How would the drug dealer not know that?
Because they're not on the other side of people trying to get sober. They're just on the side of selling, and they hear about people dying every day. They hear about people ODing every day, and to them they just go, well, you should have had your Narcan with you. You know, so they don't. I don't believe that they understand the machinations of why certain people die. To them, an overdose is an overdose is an overdose. Period. It's the people who work with the other people. It's the people that work with them.
You don't
try
think
to
that
get
they realize that there's more overdoses with the people that try to get clean? And
well, there isn't. There aren't more overdoses for people who are trying to get clean.
The people that are trying to get clean and coming back?
No, because even with that girl, they said, oh, she died of an overdose.
Yeah.
And I went to her Instagram and she had a 5-month little marker. So I said, I knew what happened. She had just posted it a week before she died. So I knew what happened. You would be able to put it together, but most people don't understand that that's a thing. Even the people who do it don't understand it's a thing. Otherwise they cut down. But so no, I think drug dealers, especially opioid pushers, they're just, I forgot there was one thing. I was actually going to shoot a Middle America episode on it, where there was a certain group that got in trouble for pushing opioid stuff in the, I should have done a Middle America episode on it, but I didn't want to because I was too angry. But yeah, I'm not sure that they know, and I'm not sure that they care either. You know, it's you know, the drug culture, it's all about fast money.
But that's what I'm saying. Even if it's just about the money.
Well, like I said, it's fast money. And there's always going to be another addict. You know, so...
Then why were they calling our friend over and over and over to come and buy?
Because they were probably low on funds or whatever.
Right, so...
But they were calling him, so if you're low on funds and they call that guy and he shows up, they're not going to say, hey, regulate your spending. They're not going to do that. some guy shows up for $200, they're going to give him $200 worth if they're calling him that bad. So,
Yeah, you're probably right.
you know, these are the thing is, especially opioid pushers. I'm not talking about like people who sell weed or the dudes that were selling nickel bags at school to try to get a pair of Jordans. I'm talking about opioid pushers are evil people. They are objectively evil people who do not care about other people and look at it as you know, the whole kill or be killed, you know, dog eat dog type of thing. And you know, we see the backside of it because we've dealt with these people and we've dealt with their families.
Right.
But that was a crazy line. Like, I see the point, but I can't get through it. And you know, that's the most frustrating thing about loving people in those situations. Like, it's because they'll tell you, like, yeah, I know. They'll look you in the eye. Yeah, I know it's gonna kill me, but there's nothing you can do about it. All hail the pessimists. All hail the anarchists. All hail the rest that never gave a shit. It's killing season. It's time to celebrate.
I mean, I don't condone killing people, obviously, but the way that the attitude, babe. You know, I like the attitude.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And you know, when you're young and you're, you know, 17, 18.
Yeah.
And you kind of have this self-righteous, because a lot of people that have this mentality are very self-righteous people. Like they act like everybody else is the
Beneath
problem,
them,
and
yeah.
they need to just clear everything
Right,
out.
because better way than rid the world of all this walking waste. Well, are you not walking waste then? Like, what makes you better than all the rest of them?
Right.
Because this wasn't a song about suicide. This was a song about killing other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, you're 16, 17 years old, you feel that way. Everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong except for you.
Gosh.
Want to see it? I'll show you something. A middle finger with a barrel and it's cocked. See, the thing is, I hear what you're saying about like the dudes who run around and shoot up places and all that, and this is their mentality for sure. I mean, I've read some of their manifestos, and I think our media kind of followed New Zealand's template, where New Zealand refused to mention the name of the shooter. So this moment, I don't know the name of that shooter. And the last couple active shooter situations we've had in America, they didn't mention the shooter's name.
Good.
And I think that's great.
I do too.
You know, just Allah knows who he is, and that is sufficient for us.
Are they putting his picture out there?
Nah. Whereas before, they made that like headline news, you know. And like, I was listening to Colin a couple days ago, and he was saying, you know, heart disease is like the #1 killer of Americans. You don't hear a lot of news reports on heart disease, but heart disease is killing us. But you know, it's all terrorism and these active shooter things, because that's what sells. You're not going to get a bunch of viewers, you know, listening into your heart disease expose. People are like, what? You know, but this active shooter stuff is really sexy. So let's get that up there.
Do you think that if it was like, I feel like that the majority of the times now, like from what I saw before they stopped putting it out there, it was predominantly white males. So
we all know that.
Yeah, but what's happening now? Like, do you think that if it was some Muslim guy that went and shot Allahu Akbar and shot everybody up, do you think that they would still leave it anonymous?
Nope.
Right, that's what I was wondering.
Nope.
I mean,
it would
so
be,
all of a sudden when it's
Johnson
looking bad for your
Al-Khattab.
people, then we're gonna leave this anonymous now.
Well, no,
because
I
don't think that you need to say the person's name or put out their picture.
I don't think that's what it is.
Put out the description.
No, I think for example, if the guy was from Georgia, because there are militant Muslims in Georgia who are white. I mean, they're white. They're Europeans.
Okay.
And he went off and did it. They would do the same thing, even though the guy's white. I don't think that that's a racial thing. I think that that's a cultural. We have a bigotry against Islamic people.
So it was the Allahu Akbar that got it.
Right. So if it was a white, you know, cornbread, you know, Alabama guy named John Smith, and he turned his name to Yahya al-Bukhari or whatever, and shot up a place, they would absolutely publish his name and do all that jazz. So I don't think that because actually there was actually an active shooter situation 2 weeks ago, killed one person, 2 people, and it was a black guy. And you know, they put his name up there and all the rest of it, but it wasn't one of these massive ones where like dozens of people were getting killed. So it was one of those things where actually there's an active shooter the day that Orion was born. on April 30th. So they happen so much. I'm just saying, like, the really big ones where you're getting, 8, 9, 12 people getting killed. All that jazz. But yeah, no doubt. If it was a Muslim dude, it would be an act of terrorism and all that.
Oh yeah.
And nobody would have been looking at his mental condition and his what medications he was on and all that. But yeah, fashion.
Yeah.
And then all my Muslim friends would have had to explain why that is. I was on a Facebook thread one time, and the guy was like, talking to a Muslim dude, like, you guys need to stand up and say blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, you need to explain to us why people that look like you are doing all these active shooter drills in our country. Because all of us are more likely to get blown away by you than by Faisal.
Yeah.
He didn't say anything. What's he gonna say? But anyway, it's crazy because if I saw a person singing this song, I would be much less afraid that he would pull off an active shooter drill than a person who's quiet. The guy that does this, run around and acts all histrionic and all that stuff, like, he's asking for help. He's saying, help me. And, a lot of people get misunderstood when they like songs like this or when they express ideologies like this.
Well, yeah.
There was that one commercial.
Scary to the rest of the.
You remember that commercial?
I doubt it.
It was this kid. He walked into a gym and like, you were just watching him in his regular school day, and then at the end he goes in and he shoots up a.
I actually do remember that.
But then you look at it again and he was
there
reading.
There was all kinds of different things.
There were little signs that he was gonna do it, and I didn't really like the message because it was putting it on the kids to catch, But it's kind of like, well, what can you do? So I think a lot of these folks actually cry out for help before, and I'm not trying to, I pity them or anything like that, but I do think a lot of them are saying, help me, and they don't know how to get, to help before they go off and do what they do. And like I said, I'm not trying to, pity them or whatever, but it's just a fact. They're not well, and they need help, And that's why, people can say what they want about Jordan Peterson, but I think Jordan Peterson has probably saved hundreds of lives that we will never know he saved.
Oh, I'm sure of it, yeah.
Because Peterson has ended up being the voice for a lot of young white males who feel like this, and he gives them a voice and a father figure that tells them that they're okay for feeling like that, and there's a way out. And I think that that's important. And at the same, he doesn't poo-poo them. He tells them to take responsibility and go on through life. And I think he saved a lot of lives.
Oh, I'm sure he has. I feel like that's my calling. You know what I mean? Like
No, you have no pity for.
I don't have any pity for somebody who goes in there and shoots up all those other kids.
And again, I'm trying to I'm not trying to make these people victims in the sense of, oh, poor them, because they've destroyed generations of people for, the horrible thing where that kid had to, he rushed the shooter and he died, but he saved a bunch of his friends, and they were graduating, and all they had was to put the kid's picture in the graduation class. And one of my buddies I live in a country where kids have to be war heroes to make sure their friends get home from school. That's deep.
Damn.
That's deep, because I've seen people with, protected, who would not run into the situation.
Well, there was that.
And to grab the guys, fucking building.
There was that situation where was it at the school or was that at the place where the cops that were all
cops stayed outside. Yeah. So, but this kid, that's what I tell Dorian. It's like the difference between a coward and a brave person is not, manliness. It's love. Period. It's love. That kid loved his classmates, so he was willing to risk himself. The other guy was not connected to any of those kids, so he was staying outside because he's got kids to go home.
Yep.
Facts.
Yep.
If it was one of his kids in there, I guarantee you that guy would have ran in there. So the difference between cowardice and bravery
you're right.
Is really just, it's love, period.
You're completely right.
So.
You are, wow, that is wild, yep.
But a lot of these people, I mean, I'm hard on men because I'm a man, you know, and I believe that God has made men to be culture makers, and so I'm always going to be harder on men than women. I'm never going to treat men and women the same way. I'm just not, ever. But at the same time, it has to be addressed that a lot of these folks feel disenfranchised and hurt and cut off, and unfortunately, they're in a country where guns are ubiquitous, and every single time a dozen or so of our countrymen get killed, the right wing immediately goes to defend guns instead of grieving for your fellow countrymen who still are yet to be identified by their parents. So we've got to try to figure this stuff out, and you know, I think we sufficiently pissed off everybody in this video, but at the same time, you know, we were listening to stuff like this, you know, surfacing, fuck it all, fuck this world, fuck everything you stand for, and all that. And we were in high school when the Columbine thing happened, so you know, we were on the other side of that, and people were kind of looking at us the next day like,
are you gonna shoot?
Yeah, there was like a real like, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, and I was not a danger of that in any way, shape, or form. But I mean, you know the individual.
Right.
There was a person that was.
Yeah.
And it was female that was on the line of.
Yeah.
Would have done it, I believe, considering the family history. And that family, they don't talk. That's the other thing, is like that whole family, they never talk about it. They just did it, and people ended up dead, period. So, and if you're willing to do that to yourself, then she definitely would have done it so that's why, like, I think every time I see one of those things, it's not that I feel, I don't know what the emotion is, but I just wish that there was somebody there that would have been able to, because, you know, in that situation, I happen to be that somebody for that person.
Yeah.
And when they were flashing swastikas in the freaking heart of the Bronx, New York, at gangbangers, and the guidance counselor brought me in and said, you need to stop her. You know, like, they knew they had no control over her. And that, you know, I had influence. So every time I see one of those things, I'm like, you know, there's nobody there that can influence these people to not do that. You know, and so.
For some reason, I used to be more, like, sympathetic toward the shooter. Like, not that I wasn't sympathetic toward the people that died.
Before or after you had Selah?
That's the thing. Once I had that, I was gonna say, once I had kids, that's when it flipped.
Right.
Then it was like.
Yeah, once you have kids.
Yeah. Now
your
it's
perspective.
different.
Your perspective
Yeah, because
changes.
prior to that, it was like, I always felt like, oh, if I was in school, I would have seen that person, because I was always the type of person that would, like, befriend the person that was, like, being left out.
You would have.
And
for sure.
So, and it always made every event that I ever did less fun, because all the fun people were over there.
Yeah.
And this person is being left out. Well, I can't join the fun people and leave that person out and feel good about it. I'm not going to enjoy that.
Yeah.
And then going with that other person, they were never really fun, which is why they were over there in the first place.
Right.
So, but I would always go over there. So I just, you know, when I would see that, I would think, that's probably one of those people that got left out, because it amazed me, because remember, I didn't go to any, like, I was in private school up until like the 5th grade, and then after that I was homeschooled. So when I saw, like, you know, if we did like some summer camp or different events that we would do, like, and participate in, I was amazed that people were being left out, and that even as they became grown adults, that still happened. Like, even now, if we have some event that has a bunch of adults at it, there are going to be people on the sidelines that are being left out, and people won't notice them or won't care or whatever. So I would, you know, go and befriend that person. So I always felt like, oh, if I was in school, I would have noticed that person was being left out. I would have noticed that person was off by themselves. And then I would have sat and, you know, befriended them, and then maybe that wouldn't have happened. But then once I had kids, you're right, then it flipped, and I was like, what? First of all, the parents didn't see there was something wrong, but then how can you know? I mean, kids go through stuff as teenagers. I mean, so I don't know. It's just it's a tough thing, and it's a terrible thing that our children are killing other children. But then how can we expect anything different when we're acting the way that we act in our country toward our smallest of people. So
Life's cheap now, man.
yeah.
You don't think that affects your collective consciousness? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Right. Right.
Ideas have consequences. All right, what do you give the song?
9.8.
This is a perennial angry new metal song. This is a solid 9. Solid 9. Good Lord. Well, the moral of the story is love your neighbor.
Yep.
And
take care of each other.
Take care of each other. And really, like, you know, you see that person who's kind of like out on the outside, you know.
Don't let that happen. Like, we're the only ones that can prevent that.
I'm not saying reach out to them as an act of charity. What I'm saying is that's a really cool person that you get to meet. That's a person that represents God in a way that you will never get in another person. And it's one of those diamond in the rough situations, like other people haven't discovered how awesome that person is yet, and so you get to do yourself a favor and discover that person. That's how I look at it.
I never did that, but that's a good way to look at it.
You're not doing an act of charity. It benefits you. So there you go. Anyway, Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.
Sometimes you gotta voice your revenge, or you're better off dead. You lose your fucking mind. Sometimes you gotta look at yourself, see the world inside out, and scream